This is Jayne Gort. She's a flutist with the Holland Symphony Orchestra. She also offers private flute lessons. She has been with the HSO since its early years and currently serves as its Link Up coordinator. I have not actually read the description of this class, but I'm sure you all have, or you would not be here. So you know what's happening. And I will now turn it over to Jayne.
Oh, thank you very much, Mary Jo. Yeah, I'll let you by. So welcome, everyone. Who's heard of Link Up before? I was going to ask that, and I know that there's several people in here that have helped out. So, but if you have not heard of Link Up, it is a program by Carnegie Hall. And so we'll get into that in a little bit more detail. The Weill Music Institute is a part of Carnegie Hall, and they are the ones that really drive all of the music education. Link Up is a music education program that partners orchestras with the local school systems, and particularly in grades 3 through 5. Now, the difference between Link Up and many of the other orchestra programs that are out there is that it allows the students to actually learn about the music before they go to the concert. And then in the concert, they don't just sit and listen, they actually play, sing, or dance. So it's very participatory. They learn music fundamentals, explore repertoire, and then also do some creative work in composition. And then at the concert, they just have a ball. So it's just a riot. There we go. So have to have goals for today if it's a class, right? I first want to introduce Jennifer Russell, who will be helping us out later. She is one of our teachers in the Link Up program, just retired from Zealand Schools. And she's been with us since day one as far as how that all goes. So she'll come back later in. And then Karen Jane Henry is one of our musicians who also goes and visits the classrooms quite a bit and helps out, plays in the orchestra, has been with West Michigan Symphony and done their Link Up program as well. So goals for today is I really want to give you an understanding of the Link Up program. And we're going to do it from the top down. We're going to kind of look at it from the Carnegie Hall perspective. And then we're going to get into it more from the teacher perspective. And then we're going to let you be a student as well. Holland Symphony is also, education is one of the big pillars of our mission. And the Link Up program is probably one of the largest educational opportunities that we have with the Holland Symphony, but it's also probably the least well known. So just a little bit more of a view of the depth of our educational initiatives. And then lastly, the appreciation for music education in schools and how important music education is for our students. So where did the Link Up program begin? Does anybody remember the Leonard Bernstein Young People's Orchestra concerts that were on Sunday afternoon? You know, that's how it all started. And then Carnegie started sending orchestra musicians into the schools. And then in 2003, they had funding for the Weill Music Institute to actually start the Link Up program. And then by 2014, it had expanded to more than 50 partners across the nation. And then in 2017, they debuted a fourth program called the Orchestra Swings. So some of the program goals from the Carnegie perspective is general music education. So this program is extremely flexible. The teachers can use it with existing programs, or they can do it as a music education in and of itself, all by itself. Carnegie is also very good at providing not only music education for the students, but also for the teachers. So there are quite a bit of development opportunities that are available if the teachers choose to use them. And probably most importantly, it introduces students to the symphony orchestra. You know, most of the students today, when they walk into the hall, have never seen a live orchestra before, have never been in an orchestra hall. So Link Up provides that wonderful opportunity to help inspire them in music and hopefully give us our next generation of musicians or audience members, or at least just learn to appreciate music for themselves. And most importantly, it builds that relationship between the symphony orchestra in the town and the schools in the town. So I love this slide. Holland is one of those little red dots up there, it goes across the world. There's 117 total partners. You have to apply to become a partner for Link Up. And it's in 37 states, it's in 12 countries. So I love thinking that our students in Zeeland, Michigan are doing Link Up program just as the students in Kenya are doing as well. So Link Up has 4 different program options, and the partners can choose any one of these options. And that basically is what you would use for the year and what the students will study. So the Orchestra Rocks kind of explores that rhythm, groove, pulse, that beat that goes with music. Orchestra Sings explores great melodies, how they're made, how they're created, what makes up a great melody. And then Orchestra Moves is the one that we did last year, and then we're also going to repeat again this year. And that explores movement in music. So it's not only how music moves within itself. If you've got a motif, one of the songs is Beethoven 5, da-da-da-dum, how that motif moves through the music. It's also how music can move you emotionally, and then how you can move with the music as well in dance. And then the Orchestra Swings explores the elements of swing and jazz. So how does this all work? Who pays for this? Carnegie Hall provides at no cost all of the material. So we have student resources, we have teacher resources. There's a physical teacher guide, which we'll hand out and let you guys kind of take a peek at later. Downloadable, everything is downloadable on the website. Ton of online tools, ton of information. All of the music is downloadable. There's audio files. Support, guidance. Carnegie is wonderful to work with. Whenever I have a question, they pop right back and they provide me with whatever resources I need. All of the concert scripts, all of the visuals that we use at the concert, all of the music that we use at the concert is all provided by Carnegie Hall. And then we have the ability to adjust it to meet whoever we have on stage or whatever music we're doing within that program. So we can kind of craft the program around our particular community. And then the Holland Symphony in turn provides at no cost to the schools training and orientation. So we provide the material to them and then provide the training on the material, show them what's available and what they can do. We provide musicians to visit the classroom. That's what Jayne gets to do. And then finally, the culminating music experience, the concert. So the concert is free, and we've always really believed in keeping it free for the students. The schools they get to get the kids to the concert. They get to teach the kids in the school, so making sure that they have enough time to present the materials, and then the recorders for the students.
They're going to go. How I see Link Up is that it is the beginning of a child's journey in music.
We were really excited by this being a curriculum where there was something to work on most of the year and lead up to the culminating event, the concert.
The collaboration is immediate and it is exciting.
That's what this is with.
It's amazing to be right here with the orchestra. They're following the conductor. They are getting to see exactly what the music is and how that comes to life. They've heard it on piano, right? They've heard it, and now they're hearing it with the whole orchestra.
I feel really excited, and I think it's a really good opportunity.
The concert experience for my students is the thing that they most cherish about the whole program. They love getting the recorders, they love singing, they love playing, but something happens to them when they see an orchestra, many times for the first time in their lives, and when they're able to play what other professional instrumentalists play.
What makes me excited about the concert is that I can take it in and kind of revise it and practice it over. When you get all of that in, maybe when you're older, you could be a musician.
All the students that I've taught the curriculum to, both in the different ways that I've taught it, have grown so much as musicians in the way they sing, the way they perform, but also just just their love for music has grown.
They actually provide the opportunity for children to learn to read music, to become accustomed to an instrument, to learn to sing and to hear great music, and then bring it to the concert hall at the culmination and actually perform.
Just the idea that you can be part of an interactive concert is mind-blowing still to me. It's their opportunity to just play with so many other kids, and it just makes it such a unifying experience for all of them.
Sometimes educators think that there's not time for music. I really believe that's a mistake. It's doing wonders for the enrollment in instrumental music in middle school and high school. They will never forget it.
So that's from the Carnegie perspective. Link Up, they start the program with the whole New York City, and then they revise the programs every 4 years. And then so the debut of it is actually with the New York partners. So Holland Symphony, as far as what we are doing, is we're concentrating on 4th grade only. And we kind of made that strategic decision because that's where the kids are just getting into band and orchestra. So it gets them kind of introduced to a musical instrument and playing with other people. And also just sheer numbers, you look at it, we're looking at 14 to 1,800 students, which is 2 performances for us at Jack Miller. So adding 3rd through 5th would be, again, a little bit more of a heavy lift on our organization. But we started in 2019 and we were at Jack Miller where the orchestra sings. And then in 2020, we were all ready to do it again. And the week of the concert, COVID hit and they shut everything down. And so the kids had practiced, they were ready to go. We were all ready to go, and then nothing happened. So that year, and I've had students come up and say, we really missed the concert. And then in 2021, we were still under shutdown. We weren't able to play, we weren't able to gather. So we did a virtual Link Up experience, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. 2022, we were at Zealand. 23, we were at the Civic Center. Then last year, we were doing orchestra moves at Jack Miller again. And then next year, our concert will be March 18 and 2025 at Jack Miller. So some of the schools that have participated, basically all the schools around here have participated at one point in time. And some of them, depending on the teachers and retirements and all of that, they come and go out of the program. So we had to talk about the COVID year just a little bit. So one of the things we did is we produced that virtual concert. The musicians provided a series of videos. So there were actually quite a few videos out there, and they talked about their instrument. Sarah, our principal oboe at the time, she talks about how to make reeds. All of those videos are still on our website, and they're available for the teachers to use. They're available for anybody to actually come take a look at it. So if you want to know more about the oboe, the harp, the violin, you can kind of peek at our website and just check out the videos. The teachers during COVID were very creative in how they actually taught Link Up. One teacher, he started really early when he could be outside, and they played outside, they played distanced, they played with masks. So I give the teachers a ton of credit for how they managed to work through that whole thing. And then it was interesting because in New Zealand, their orchestra, they had kicked COVID and they were able to play with no restrictions whatsoever. So they provided all of the orchestra music for our virtual concert. So it was kind of a fun. That video, if you want to see it, is still on our website. So our school year, just kind of talking about how it kind of flows. During summer and right now we're wrapping up enrollment for the schools. I have a couple more teachers that I have to chase down, and then we'll have that kind of, we'll know who's actually going to be participating for this year. In October, we do the training for the teachers, hand out the teacher guides, show them all of the material. And then in November, December, we have to assign the schools to seating, provide busing, kind of do all of the background planning, the script and the visuals. And then January, February, the musicians get to visit the concert. And then in March is the concert. So looking at it as a teacher, there is a ton of resources. And one of them is this lovely student guide or teacher guide, which I'll give you a bunch. Let me hand them. So you can kind of take a peek at it. Online, there are a ton of videos and recordings. So like at the top there is all audio tracks. So the audio tracks can be either, I have trouble walking and talking. So the audio tracks can be either the full performance. It can be just one recorder part, one vocal part. It can be the play along. So all of those are available on the website and easy to use. There are also a ton of videos, and the videos range from warm up. So if you're a teacher that maybe you're an instrumentalist, but you're not really comfortable with the vocal part of it, there's vocal and body warm-ups. Or maybe you're a vocalist and not too comfortable with the recorder part of it. There's a whole series on how to teach the recorder. And then this cute little orchestra map is available as well, which is really fun. So if you want to take a look at the teacher's guide, you can kind of page through it, and you can see that all of the concert repertoire is available in there. It's and that's what the teachers will, all of this is also downloadable. And then with each song, there's some different tools that you can explore a little bit further in. So like we talked about Beethoven 5, there's a cute little video that shows lights bouncing back and forth around, or exploring how to create a motif or what is different in the motif. Instrument families, that's a very big thing, is what is a violin, and what family does it actually belong to? There are a lot of kids that don't know that. And then the concert experience. So teaching kids how to act in a concert, and maybe even just act in a public setting. How do you behave? What is expected? What are we going to do in the concert? How do you handle your recorders? You can't play until we tell you to play. Everything is available for download. As I said earlier, this is the most flexible program, and there's 3 paths that the teachers can take. You have a basic program path, which is your minimum requirements for concert participation. The year after COVID, a lot of teachers were struggling getting all the material in because there was also storms and things that hit, I think, at the same time. And I said, don't worry about it, just come. You'll get something out of the concert. And the feedback that I got from it afterwards, of the kids that didn't know all the material actually felt really bad when they saw some of the other students playing it. So it's like, it really works out well if you have at least some understanding of all the material that's in there, and that's in the basic program path. This can also be used if maybe some of these teachers see their music students once every 2 weeks. They're alternating with art, or they're alternating with other things. So how do you teach all of this music, when you only see your kids every other week? And then maybe you've got some kids that have had music before. You've got some kids that have piano lessons, they have a musical family, or you get to see more of the kids more often. So then there's a basic plus program path. So that adds in additional challenges, some of the harder parts. And then the advanced program path is if you've completed everything, it kind of just is all of it. So this can also be used for your 3rd through 5th grade. So maybe your 3rd graders would do the basic, your 4th graders would do basic plus, your 5th graders would do the advanced program. So that's another way to handle it. There's icon keys on each piece of music that you'll see. Digital media shows you've got something available for download. The singing icon means you get to sing. And the basic instrument icon is that you can play, and all of this music can be done on recorder, or some of the students will use ukuleles as well. Recorder star, it's a little bit harder. And then movement means you get to get up and move and dance. So looking at some of the digital resources that the students actually have available, like I said, the sheet music, audios, videos, repertoire activities, you want to just kind of take a look. We're hoping this works. So this gives you kind of a view of what the program is. We go here, you go to Orchestra Moves, and then all of this material is available right here online. As far as what and I'm just going to scroll down. All of the concert repertoire, and let's click on Come to Play is in every single program. It's the theme song, and believe it or not, it's one of those kind of earworms that kind of gets to you, but the kids love it. Tom Cabanas, who wrote it, is one of the composers for Link Up and also probably one of the leading educators in there as well. But you can see that this gives you what the student participation is for the song. You know, I can do anything on this song. You know, if I want to just sing it and show up and sing, I can do that. Or if I really want to play, I can be a star. What recorder notes are needed for each one? I can jump to the sheet music. I can jump to audio parts. So here you can see there's complete, there's a vocal. If I just want to learn vocal part 1, there's a recording for that. If I just want to learn recorder part 2, there's a recording for that. Or if I know it all and now I want to test it and see if I want to do it, there is the play along for that as well. And then you can see various videos that are available. This particular video, Jennifer and I were talking, is apparently one of her students' favorites. It kind of shows the recording session for for the Come to Play. And this has got the actual music that they'll use at the concert. And then looking at the different repertoire activities that you can do, exploring meter through locomotor movements, identifying meter through body percussion, melodies move in steps and leaps, and then a little bit about the composer. So this is just a little bit of the material that you can see on, let's see if I get back. Back to the slideshow. Okay. So then I usually also try to provide the students or the teachers with kind of a list. So this is the list for Orchestra Moves and all of the stuff that we'll be doing for the concert. We eliminated the knitting nettles piece, mostly because of orchestration. But you can see that this allows them to go through and say, well, maybe I'm going to start on a shibboleth because I have the fewest recorder notes to learn. Or maybe I'm going to just sing and I'm going to work on Come to Play. There are always 2 listening pieces in the program as well. So repertoire exploration, again, it just allows you to learn additional fundamental music concepts and a deeper exploration of those ideas. So there's some audio file options. So you can either do the audio file or there's the sound slice. Now this was not working earlier. So let me see. So I think I'm actually just going to skip over that, but it's really a cool tool. Yeah. It's kind of weird. On Zoom, it didn't work. So we're going to skip over that. Okay. But Sound Slice, what that does, it's interactive sheet music. So if you click that play button, there's a red line that appears, and then you can follow the music all the way through. So the kids can actually watch the music, and then you can toggle on parts. So maybe I only want to see part 1, and so I can just toggle on part 1. Or maybe I only want to hear the play along. So I can do all of that through that visual. There's a metronome that's involved. It's really kind of cool. This is also a really fun tool. for learning about the orchestra families. They developed this a couple of years ago. So let's meet the orchestra. So you can look at it from an instrument perspective, or you can look at it from a family perspective. But what you do is you just click on, see if we want to learn more about the trombone. Tells you the trombone is in the brass family. Tells you a little bit more about the trombone. And then there's a fun video of somebody actually playing the trombone. And what is fun about this is these are all young people from the New York area. So they're all part of their youth orchestra. And so the kids can see not only, and they're playing at a very professional level, the kids can see not only, you know, that this is what the instrument is, but look, this kid can play it and he can play it really well. So as I said, there's usually one or two listening pieces involved in the program. And we want to really kind of, again, emphasize that listening is important. You know, it's not only important in music, it's important as a person. You want to be able to, when you talk to somebody, you want to know how to listen. It's not a passive activity, it's actually an active activity. So, for example, in Beethoven, can you find that motif? Can you find the da 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 da? Where does it appear? How does it change? Is there an emotion that the composer is trying to portray? And as a musician, I have to actively listen as well. So I have to listen across the orchestra for the various partnerships that I may have. You know, in the last concert, I was playing a duet with the tuba. You know, it's like all of a sudden I hear that in the background. It's like, oh my word, you know, so that was kind of cool. And then what is my part of the piece as a whole? How do I fit into that whole piece? And then lastly, how you be a great audience member. So I want to show up to an orchestra and not fall asleep, right? This isn't nap time. I want to be able to kind of enjoy the music and what's actually there. So this is, I think, a very important part of the program. And it's one that the kids, I think, seem to really enjoy. So some of the notes that we get back is their favorite pieces were some of the listening pieces. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer. So we're going to learn what it is to be a teacher in a classroom.
Right. So when I spoke with Jayne, that we want you to be an active participant. That's really what we talked about. Pretty big break.
What I love as a teacher in the classroom is all of the options Jayne just spoke about. I might have a student that really struggles with those first sounds on the recorder, but they're a great singer. Or I might have a student that's really shy and uncomfortable singing, but they're so excited about the instrument. So it gives every student a place to really find their comfort and excel. So that's a really neat piece of the program. What we're going to do for like the next 20 minutes is be students. So if you can kind of think back to 4th grade. Okay. And I'm going to give you a recorder. And we're going to start with a couple simple fingerings. For some of you, this might be like riding a bike. It's going to come right back to you. For others of you, maybe not so much, but I'm going to do everything I can to help you in the program. As Jayne said, we're going to play, we're going to sing, we're going to move. Those are the 3 things we're going to do. I'm also going to be having Karen Jayne join me, just like I would in the classroom. We'll work really hard in the classroom to learn these pieces. And we're working towards a couple of things. We're working towards the concert, but we're also working towards this really amazing day when a Holland Symphony professional musician is going to come to our room. You know, where we're used to being. And so that's our first goal, is we want to be ready for them. So you'll see kind of what that's like today. So let me hand you these are sanitized. Okay. They were sanitized at the end of the year in my classroom. And then I put them in my dishwasher again last night so that they are good to go. So just to be comfortable with that. So everyone, if you'll take one. And we're going to start with the 4 notes. In orchestra moves, we do an Israeli circle dance from Israel, and it's called the Shibboleth. And we are going to learn a recorder part to that. And we need to be able to play 4 notes. So let's talk about the notes that we're going to play. No one is grading you today. Okay, we're going to talk really, really quickly about how to hold the recorder, but then you may hold it any way you are comfortable holding it. We put our left hand on top. So I'm going to turn this way. And you have a thumb hole on the back. You're going to have your left hand thumb covering that. Okay, and we're focusing just on left hand notes. Okay, so your first finger, your index finger is covering that top hole. When we play A in a moment, you're going to have 2 fingers, and then G, second line on the staff, will be 3. Okay, and in class, we talk about Cheerios. You want to be able to pull your finger away and see the little indentation mark of a Cheerio, meaning you're sealing up those holes really nicely. Okay, so anybody remember hot cross buns? Yeah, I see a lot of nods. I don't know if you remember how exciting that is in 4th grade when you get to play that. Like, it is a big deal. So we're going to start by warming up on hot cross buns, and then we need to come back and we'll talk about the note C. So we have a little video here.
Food prices are just too high.
You got to make
and
it
Kamala
through the
Harris
ad,
has a
though.
plan to bring costs down.
As president, I will go after the.
To show you the secret that you need, and we're starting on the top finger. 2 fingers, 3 fingers. 2, 3. There, right there. One more time. Very good. All right, remember, last time. How do you feel? Great. Nicely done, nicely done. All right, we have one more note before we get to our link up keys. We need to be able to play keys.
Do a microphone and a recorder. So C's a little bit trickier, but you've got this. So we're going to keep our thumb on the back, sealing that top hole. And then we're going to just hold down our second finger on that second hole. So thumb on the back and that second hole, that's our C. Okay. So what if you play 4 quarter notes? Ta, ta on C, ready, go. C, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Okay. And then if we go to this piece in link up, you can see these are the 4 notes that we have to play. Okay. So in the classroom, we take some time with this. We'd look at the time signature. We'd look at the notes on the staff. We'd sing the rhythm. We'd be familiar with the piece before we got to this playing. But this is a crash course, so we're going quickly. This is the recorder. I guess this would be the basic recorder part. So this is the most simple part that students are able to play. Usually they look at this and it just looks really hard. And that the rhythm, we have syncopation. This is tough. But because they know those notes, they can do hot cross buns, et cetera, it ends up being more accessible than they anticipate. And then their success is just very, very exciting. So we're going to jump in. We'll use this. We're using the resources that Carnegie has for us as teachers. You're going to hear on the audio, I believe, the recorder playing along with us. We have that support, a little bit of background to give us some comfort. And we're going to try playing one of the link up songs right now. And I will say this, when the audio begins, we kind of have to jump right in. There's no introduction, if I'm remembering correctly.
We're going on, so that's beep, beep, and beep, and beep, run. And beep. That was really impressive. So a little bit here, that a couple of minutes, in the class.
Oops. Okay. Operator here. You want to do it one more time?
Okay, so that might look like this. We might get together and play for the Holland Symphony musician, and then they might play unison with us. And then we might say, all right, we're going to play that part, and we're going to ask this professional musician to play the harmony, and we're going to experience what that's like. So we kind of have these different stair steps. Okay, so we'll have Karen Jayne play along with us. Do you want to do the harmony right away? Does that sound good timing wise? Okay. It's amazing. They had it. They had it. They were ready.
Not everyone's been playing for you. So don't let it throw you off.
And then we're also going to switch to the slides, hopefully, that we actually use during the concert. So then you'll be able to see what the kids do during the concert as well. You ready? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll show yeah. I just want to make sure it runs first. It goes one more time. Yes.
So my name's Jayne Henry. I play in the Holland Symphony. And I go to the classes. I've been really excited about these classes. I've actually been participating in these classes. This is our 20th year to do this. I'm so excited in the Holland is too. I have a chance to go. Fun, I think, for them. I hope for it to teach somebody to orchestra and talk directly to them. And then they have somebody to take person. So it gives them somebody up on the stage to also. Sorry, I was supposed to be speaking to this as well.
A loud voice too, so I'm not used to usually using one of these, but what I do when I go into the classrooms is usually it's pretty close before the concert. Sometimes it's just the week before. It's their last class in some cases before they go to the concert. And what I'm doing and the other mentors are doing is just giving them an opportunity to see someone. We talk about our instruments. So I tell them about my violin, the fact that I started playing piano when I was 4 years old, but I wanted to play in an orchestra and I wanted to play with other people. So I started the violin in the 6th grade so I could play with a large group. And tell them a little bit about my violin itself. It was made in Michigan, out of Michigan wood, and things like that. And if they had any questions. But then we go into also talking about what to expect at the concert. And one of the things I talked to them about was exactly something that all of you did not do correctly when we started. And that is you leave your recorders in your lap or on the floor and do not play them until the director tells you it's time to play. And that's how one of the things we learn as a musician is you wait for that director and they're going to tell you when to play. So just be aware of that. We kind of let them know also, one of the things, as I said, this is something I look forward to probably more than anything every year. And now the fact that I get to do it twice a year is wonderful. It's so exciting to hear all these kids. And I let them know, even though you're coming, you're going to play along with us. And you may see 80 musicians or 90 musicians up on the stage, and we're all playing loudly and we're all playing our own instruments. But we can still hear you when you start singing and when you start playing the recorder. There's so many of you, we can still hear you play. And that's just so exciting. In fact, every time I think about it, and there's one song that we always do up in Muskegon every year, I even just think about the song and I start getting teary-eyed because it's so exciting and it's so important to the kids. And they really enjoy this very, very, very much. So as I said, I tell them kind of what to expect at the concert. You watch for the conductor. The conductor's going to tell you when it starts, when to take out your recorder, and your teachers are going to be along the side to help you out as well. And I also have questions. One of the things I did, I mentored for Jennifer's classes several times. And one of the fun things was I told her, I said, have kids think of questions and send me a list. And I got this 2-page list of questions before I even went in to visit. And so I sat there actually at work one day and was answering the questions and how I would do that. And I try to cover a lot of those things, like, what's it like to play in an orchestra? And why do you all wear all black? And what's that thing that you're using on the other side? And what's that red thing that's stuck on your violin? And when did you start playing? And how much do you get paid, or do you get paid to play in an orchestra? And I did get that question. The teacher was like, you can't answer it. I said, no, that's okay. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's, $100 a service. You never know. It all depends. So, it's a lot of fun. And then when they come to the concert, I always try to make sure that I'm out in the lobby. And when the kids are all coming in from the bus loads are coming in the lobby, and they're like, oh, we're in our class, we recognize you. And that's also a lot of fun. But it's just something that kids really, really enjoy. So one of the things I do also, in addition to asking questions, which, do any of you have any questions about the violin or an orchestra? You're just like the 4th grade classes, trust me. But once the first person asks a question, yes? because they're all handmade. They're very, very difficult to make them. They're all made by hand. There's no machine work in most really good high-end violins. Most professional instruments that are used, they were all made entirely by hand. So somebody spent a lot of hours and a lot of time working very hard to put this together. And as I said, mine was made up in Fremont, Michigan by Mr. Tim Jansma. And I'm the only owner. It's a one-owner violin, was made in 1970. And he had actually just put together a couple instruments when I was up in the orchestra with him at Blue Lake. And he just finished 2 instruments. He said, well, I need somebody to play this for me, because a string instrument, it's made out of wood and it takes time. It kind of ages. And as that happens, the more you play it, the better it sounds. So he said, I need somebody to play it for me before I try to sell it. It's never left my hands. I told my father I wanted to buy it. He laughed at me. We went and visited Tim's shop. We walked out to the parking lot. Dad said, okay, this is what we're going to do to get you that violin. And the other special thing is this is actually made out of Michigan maple. Tim went up to the UP and cut down the maple tree himself up there. So I like to say it was born and raised in Michigan. But that's why they are expensive. So, but they don't have to be. If any of you want to play the violin, get started. There are a lot of places out there. There are music stores where you can rent an instrument and just to try it out and get started on it. And what's great about a orchestra instrument is they're made out of wood and they can be made to fit you. So if your arms aren't quite as long to start out with, you can start with a smaller instrument.
You know, one of the best questions I got when I did a music mentor visit. So I play flute. Little boy raises his hand and said, can you use that as a lightsaber? Like, yeah, not mine.
I get that. I get that too. And when I was just starting out, that's when they were just starting to use fiberglass bows. And that's one of the reasons they were using, they weren't lightsabers yet, but they were swords. And that's one of the reasons they fortunately came up with fiberglass bows is for the kids that were starting out using them as swords and later lightsabers. Yes. So, and then the other thing we do is I play along. Now, as we said that you learn the recorders, some of the pieces you're going to play recorder, some of the pieces you're going to sing along. So what I usually do is I'll play along with you in the melody the first time. And then the next time we go through a piece, I will just probably play my part, whether in this case, and in this case, it wasn't actually my part. I was playing the second recorder part. But one thing I do like to do is show them, and you can pass this around if you'd like, is this is actually what the second violin part looks like for that piece. So when we were first doing this, and I was going to be going to the classrooms and I'm looking at this melody and I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I have no idea where it fit into that particular part until we actually started rehearsing it. Now I know where it fits in with all of that. But if you look at it, you'll notice that my part doesn't look anything at all like your part. So I like to show the kids what the music looks like. But I play first the melody and then the other. And I think next we're going to teach you a singing song, which is a lot of fun. And so you're going to get to know, I think you probably know the melody, but I'll still play it along with you. Or actually, Jennifer will play it along with you and I will play my second violin part. And that's what you're going to get a chance to know, that when you are playing along with the orchestra, you've got your melody, but you're going to be hearing other things as well. But that's what makes it music. It's not just the single melody. It all fits together.
Right. So we wanted to give you, again, the option that the kids have. So on the Blue Danube, we talk about this in class. I usually have my students conduct. We usually stand up and we do a waltz step. We learn what the box step is like. And we talk that people that would dance to this. We actually start with what is the Blue Danube, and we look at pictures of it and look at a map. So we've done all that, we'll say, and then it's time to be musical. Make music, and you have the option on this one of singing and playing. You can maybe do both. The recorder part to this is more difficult. It has F sharp, it has high D. We're not going to review those notes, but I'll invite those of you that are really great recorder players, because we have some here today, to jump in and play the recorder part. But we're going to invite you right now to sing. And as you're singing, you're going to hear the violin part. So part of what the orchestra is going to do. So kind of taking you through the student journey. You did some playing. We're now going to sing. Those kids really grow from those different experiences.
I think so.
I think so.
Which is normally what we would do is to have them play and sing and then we'll have the words and just sing their part. So we're jumping ahead a little bit to the next time we go through it. Now I'm playing my part. We're going to be singing.
And if you like looking at the music in your lap, which again, the kids can do if they bring it along, it's on page 16 in your books. So,
All right, page 16.
yeah.
A beautiful stream, so clear and blue, a beautiful dream of me and you. The stars seem to float above the blue. With us as we go, they fly so high. We're up in the air, up in the air, as high as we dare. We dare, we'll never come down. We will stay until night becomes the day. There's the easy part on recorder. We get to sing again. A beautiful stream, so clear and blue, a beautiful dream of me and you. The stars seem to float above the blue. With us as we go, they fly so high. We're up in the air, up in the air, as high as we dare, high as we dare. We'll never come down, we will stay until night becomes the day. Ba-dum-bum. Nicely done. There you have it. All right, so we've played and we've sung, and now it's time to move. So,
Well, 1 minute here. Yeah, sorry. So if you want to see what the kids actually did, this is the actual performance. We have Turning Point that came as our dancers and helped do the little visual. There we go. So you can see how the kids enjoyed it. They chose to sing, they chose to play. And yeah, and we had dancers too. Getting into a little bit of movement. So there's always one movement piece, and that usually is the end of the concert, which works out real well because they have all this in them that is no longer, right? They need to get up and move. This is, I think this will work. So this is one of the movement pieces from Orchestra Rocks that we did a few years ago. You can see a variety of dances happening, but they learned the movements, you know. So that gives you a little bit of insight as far as that goes. What we're going to do, oops, there we go, is Oye, which is part of the Orchestra Sings program.
Okay, so we're going to have you stand up, please. Might want to push in your chair. You want a little room for your feet. The kids love this piece, and it's really simple to move to. So we're going to start with, we'll go to the right first, a step together, step, clap. We're going to do that during the verse. So here we go. Step together, step. Other way. We'll do that a few times. All right. And then we're going to hear the word escúchalos. Okay. Oh, it means listen. And as we get to that chorus, we're going to take one arm up and then the other arm. And we're going to bring them both down. And that brings us to our chorus. Oye, listen. And we're going to take our arms and just turn to someone near to us. Doesn't matter which side first. And we're going to question with our arms. Turn. And then bring your hand up to your ear. Are you listening? And then we're going to do it on the other side. Oye. Can you hear? So your other hand behind your ear. And then we're going to just take our arms and shoot them up. Oye. And then we'll bring that here. Calling to you. Okay, so that's kind of our sequence on the chorus. We'll put that together with those questioning arms one side. We're going, are you listening? Can you hear them calling? Oh, we are calling to you. You got it. And then we're going to go back and do the step touch when we get to verse 2. There's a little free dance. And if we go, I'll let you stop it when you need to, Jayne. If we go through the whole piece, there's one fun clap. We're going to clap in a circle. Start high. 1, then in the middle. And the rest is kind of gonna be your own movement, okay? That's it, you're ready.
All right.
Esto soy llorando en el viento, en la oscuridad. Esto soñando, deseando, con esperanza, con oportunidad. Escúchalos, escúchalos, ellos serán. Oye, oye, listening, oye, can you hear them calling? Oye, we are going to be here. Oye, oye, listening, oye, can you hear them calling? Oye, can you? Escúchalos, míralos, escucha.
What do you think? Yay! Apparently it's on repeat. Good. Go ahead and have a seat. I think they're ready for the concert. So it's concert day. Can you imagine 1,400 kids coming to a concert? Can you imagine? I looked outside and all of 9th Street was one big long bus line. And there were kids lined up all the way down the street. And again, I give credit to the teachers. Everybody was extremely well behaved. Everybody was single file. They did what they needed to do. And yeah, it's like, but again, you know, to kind of echo what Jayne said, is those kids walk into that concert hall and their eyes are as big as saucers. And they are just totally amazed. And it's like, it brings tears to my eyes as well. Oh, so just wanted to give you, again, behind the scenes of a Link Up concert or any concert, there are a lot of people that are involved. And this is kind of the perspective of the musicians.
Link Up is a great opportunity for young students to see an orchestra in action, interact with them in a way that they typically wouldn't be able to. And nothing is more exciting than watching them interact with the different ways that music can make you feel and how you can express emotion. It's a really great opportunity.
I love the energy of Link Up. The kids are so excited, which gets us excited to play for them. And it's a great opportunity for them to be involved in music making.
I do mentoring for Link Up, and which means that I go into the schools and meet with the fourth grade classes before they come to the concert, kind of give them an idea of what's going to be going on at the concert, and also to kind of prepare them by playing my part along with their part so they know kind of what to hear.
We have a lot of fun on stage. The kids have a lot of fun in the hall. You get to sing, you get to dance, you get to play recorder. What more can you want?
I'm doing the recorder at Lincoln. So that means this little instrument, like the kids do. So we're sort of helping with what the kids do.
I love the kids' reactions. And they come out and they're all smiling and excited. It's a great experience.
We have a number of kids that have come forward after the concert and say they enjoyed it so much. One child said that was the best outing they've ever had for his school ever. So there's a lot of kids that enjoy it. So it's a fun thing to work on.
You haven't lived until you've heard hundreds of fourth graders play their recorders all at the same time or scream and yell at the same time.
It was just, I love how engaging Link Up is, and it was fun to see. It was kind of the orchestra for all the senses. You could hear it, you could see it, you could move. I mean, we are really creating the next level of the orchestra to excite the young generation and keep them following this beautiful tradition of music that we have. And so it was really important and special to be part of the Link Up team and be a volunteer.
So also behind the scenes is we have hosts. So for the past 2 years, we've had Avalon Cutts Jones and we've had John Lovegrove, and they have been our host for the concert. So they're our vocalists. They help the kids with singing. John is also a Toreador for the Toreador song. So I wanted to give you a little bit of their background as well. Let's start with Avalon.
Hey, I'm Avalon Cutts Jones from Michigan. I've had the honor of working with the Holland Symphony Orchestra with the presentation. So prior to Jayne reaching out to me, I had never heard of the Linka program at all. Wasn't familiar with it, didn't know something like this even existed, but I was definitely excited to learn that there is something like that out there. I was a kid who's always involved in or wanted to be involved in music, but we didn't have anything like this at my elementary or middle school. I didn't really have a music program until I got in high school. So when I heard about it, I was definitely all game for it. Because I had no reference for it and wasn't familiar with the program at all, I immediately went to watch the videos that I could pull up and that they gave me access to. And it was really, really cool. I was interested in seeing how it was going to work on a smaller scale than Carnegie Hall, but also I guess I wanted to really see how the kids were going to be engaged and how we were going to keep the kids engaged. When you look at all the material, it can feel like, oh my God, this is a whole lot even for an adult. So how is a kid going to be able to comprehend all of this? And it's 45 minutes. It seems like it's a lot longer, as you're preparing for the role and everything. But I think that the program does a great job of keeping the kids engaged. It's a great balance of talking and moving and singing and with the videos, and of course being involved or feel like you're involved with the actual orchestra is great. So it's been a great ride. So I played the role of one of the hosts and also vocalist for the performance. Preparing for it, I am a singer, so the music end of it, was great. That was no problem at all. That felt like home. But the speaking part of it is something that I had to prepare for a little bit more. It's always been easier for me to sing in front of a crowd than to speak in front of a crowd. So I had to think of it as playing a role, as I prepared for this the same way that I would for a musical theater or an opera type thing. Speaking can feel like, oh my goodness, don't mess up a word. don't forget something, don't stutter. So just trying to find a balance between those two, and while keeping a room full of kids engaged with you. So it's been really fun though. I actually have two. One of them, last year, I was able to go up into the balcony between some of the songs. And there's a moment where the conductor is speaking, and then I answer from the balcony. And no one knew, as far as the crowd, they didn't know that I was up in the balcony. And I remember seeing the faces of the kids, and even one of the teachers who didn't know I was standing right behind her. And they just lit up. You would have thought that I was like Whitney Houston or something. They made me just feel so special, and the balcony felt like they were part of the show too, not just extra. They didn't feel left out at all. And that was a really, really great feeling, just to see the look on their faces like they didn't forget about us. The second moment that I had, when it was over, I went and stood out in the hallway, just to say bye to kids and, to kind of be a little more engaged and to be present. And I remember the look on two girls' faces, two African-American young women, and they looked at me and had so much pride. And I knew what that meant. I knew what that meant for them. And being someone, an African-American woman in this space, you don't always see people who look like you, and representation matters. So that's definitely a moment for me. And I'm glad that, they got to see somebody with hair like them, who speaks like them, who, had some style like them. And I think, if I'm remembering right, one of them actually gave me a hug and was just like, it was so fun to see you. So things like that matter. So that was a good moment. Overall, I think the experience is definitely something that the kids will remember throughout their scholastic career. Like I said, I was someone who didn't have any type of program like this when I was in school at all, and I wish I had. So I'm grateful and honored to be a part of it. I hope it continues. I hope it continues to grow. And I just look forward to year number 3.
My name is John Lovegrove, and I first did Link Up with the Holland Symphony in 2023. I hadn't heard of Link Up before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect for it, but I think I was expecting more of an educational concert type setting where the students come in during their school day, they hear some great music, learn a little bit about the orchestra, and then go back to school. And it's basically just a field trip. But I was very surprised to find out that there's actually a lot of preparation that goes on in the classroom, and that the concert itself is actually a performance for the students in combination with the orchestra. And so at the concert, they're not only learning about the orchestra, but they're performing with the orchestra. And I think that's a very cool experience for them, especially at such a young age. My role for Link Up is co-host and soloist. And so what I do to prepare for this is I go over the script to make sure that I know the content, I know the composers, I'm not getting tongue-tied at the various things that I'm saying, and also to get some emotion and fun into this, because as a co-host, I get to really help the students have fun here. And so if I'm just reading a script while they're in the audience, then it's really not that fun for them. But if I'm interacting with them because I know the script better, then I think that adds to the experience for them. And then as soloist, one of my main things is to sing the Toreador song from Bizet's Carmen. And so that's a combination of French and English. And the students actually join in. And that actually leads me to one of my very favorite moments from the concerts was actually this year in 2024, where the students were so excited to hear music that they had been working on in the classroom that they just sang along with me the entire time. And that was very, very cool to see. I really had fun with that. I think the overall impact that Link Up leaves with the students is that they see that classical music is not just something that is inaccessible and that is for, a different class than what they're in. It's very accessible. It's very fun. And it's a very cool way for them to be able to learn about the classical music, learn about the orchestra, learn rhythms and melodies and everything that goes into that, and just gives them a greater appreciation for what all goes into a concert and a performance that they might attend.
Hey, I am Avalon Kutch Jones from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
So just want to say it takes a village to put a concert on for Link Up. We had, as I said, dancers from Turning Point that helped us out for the last couple of years, kind of visually to depict. Avalon and John helped, but also one of the most important people in the performance, the guy that changes the slides. Keith Walker. Do you know how important that job is? To get it in sync with the music and to make sure that everything is there. So he is one of the big people. I also wanted to kind of play. So this is John as the Toreador. Gives you a little idea of the solo, but then this is actually the memory that he was talking about, because the kids aren't supposed to sing the first time through the chorus. They come in the second time when he brings them in. They joined right away, and his face went like, oh. So one of the best things that happens after the concert is they send thank you notes. And you get to see the impact that Link Up has on those students. I got to listen to many different instruments. This was so special. And my favorite part was the Toreador, because the guy had a really pretty voice. I didn't know how to clap the rhythm before this piece. I didn't know how to sing in a different language. Now, one of the things we do in the Toreador, which we didn't talk about, is we talk about how music moves you emotionally. So he goes and sings the chorus as if you were scared, as if you were bored, and so the kids get a really big kick out of that. They can see how music, how your emotion and how your presence actually portrays the music as well. And he says, I like the emotions. I like the scared one. It was so cool playing with other fourth graders. I never knew the bow from the violin was made from horsehair. The experience was amazing. I wish I could go back in time and do it again. And then from COVID, thank you for the video. I especially liked how there were videos of the schools singing and showing how excited they were. I want to play the trumpet. I have a lot of people. I want to play the flute. I want to play the violin. Another one from the COVID year is like, I will remember the great concert you put together for us to watch, because we couldn't watch you in a real live concert. And then I especially liked the hard work that I learned, although things were happening, never give up. Like, that's huge. I will remember this as long as possible. So what is Link Up's value? Hopefully you see a little bit of it. One is we get to bring children to the concert hall. We get to have them explore music. Hopefully that they get to embody within themselves. And if they never become a musician, at least be able to appreciate it. And maybe music helps them out in other ways. Listening skills. So you get to listen, you get to learn how to listen not only to music, but maybe that also can translate into other areas of your life. The value of practice. I I start here. If I practice, look, I can go here, here, and here. And Carnegie has a great system of evaluation that you can also include in the program, so the kids can see how they've progressed. A feeling of accomplishment. Look what I did. I just played with an orchestra. Working with others. You can do that on a sports team, but you can also do that in a music setting as well. Just etiquette. How do I act around others? How do I act in a large situation? How do I act in the public place? How music can become a part of your life. And then lastly, I think the art of writing thank you notes. That doesn't happen very often anymore, right? So we would like to thank our sponsors. So for this year, it was the John and Judy Spoolhouse Foundation, Hayworth Helps, and the Samuel L. Westerman Foundation. So with their help, we are able to provide that concert free of charge and the whole Link Up program free of charge to the schools. And with that, are there any questions? Thank you very much for coming today.
Jayne, I have a question.
All right.
How long did it take you to make that video? That whole program?
The whole program? I don't know. I worked on it for a while.
Well, not only have I lost my credibility because I was thinking we were starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon, but I think it has been restored by the fact that I was able to have you come and you have exceeded expectations.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And before
Thank
we
you.
completely acknowledge you, I would like to mention the fact that we have 2 special guests here with us this morning. We have had a transition at the level of administration, and Kay Walvert is here with us, who has been with the orchestra for 100 years or more. And Kay is here in the blue jacket. And her new successor is Michael Ness. And thank you very much for both of you being here, and especially Jayne, for you. Thank you. You
Kay.
just have done all that you could and more. The only exception would be you didn't show John as the bullfighter.
Yeah.
Come to the Link Up and you'll see it. It's very much more dramatic than singing along. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate your being here, and do Link Up with the orchestra.
Thank you.